In this video, we're going to talk about foreign exchange rates. And why is this important? Well, we work in a globalized economy where we're constantly having to outsource or import, export, interact with other countries, and every country or most countries have their own currency. Now, the European Union has the euro, so that's a few countries that have the same currency. But regardless, we're constantly having to convert uh, money. So, for example, if we have an agreement with Europe, with Germany, or with I'm thinking of European Union countries, France. Uh, if for whatever reason their coin loses value to the dollar, or if it gains, it is going to impact our cash flow, because suddenly maybe something that cost a dollar is now costing $1.15 when relative to our own currency, and therefore it's very sensitive to changes in a decision can be very sensitive to changes in foreign currency, and it's a very complicated thing to talk about foreign currency. Foreign currencies change. They gain or lose value to the dollar or relative to each other. They get stronger or weaker, and there's so many different economic factors that affect that. It can be something like like conflict, or it can be a recession, or even an economic boost. A number of things can have positive and negative impacts on foreign currency exchange rates. Now, the reason that we're bringing it up now is because, in a way, foreign exchange rates behave in a similar way that inflation does. And by that, I don't mean that there is this constant growth, or this, well, not constant, consistent, or that we're losing purchasing power in the same way. But we are losing purchasing power in a way if another country's if something that happened in a different country affects how expensive what we're manufacturing is. So in any case, the rate is analogous to changes in the general inflation rate, and we're going to see some formulas that we're going to recognize immediately. Oops. Let's see. All right. First of all, let's look at how currency even works. So let's say that a product costs 37 Mexican pesos in Mexico. In the US, this same product can be purchased for 2.6 US dollars. The exchange rate is 13 Mexican pesos to 1 US dollar. Should this product be purchased in Mexico or in the US? What will the total savings be for purchasing 1 million units in the country you chose? So this is pretty straightforward, but it's an important concept. And particularly if you're going to be traveling internationally, this is something that you have to be comfortable doing, which is going between currencies. How much are 37 Mexican pesos in US dollars, or how much are $2.6 in Mexican pesos? So, and it's a ratio really. If one Mexican peso, or US dollar is equal to 13 Mexican pesos, we could say, well, then how many dollars are equal to 37 Mexican pesos? And this quantity is going to be compared to those $2.6. And if we do this, we're going to end up dividing, so 37 times 1 divided by 13. 37 divided by 13 gives me approximately 2.85 US dollars, which means that right now this item is cheaper in the US. So we're gonna, because we can buy it here for 2.6. And the difference between and this has more decimal places in my calculator, but 2.84 something minus 2.6 is going to give me, and again, this has more decimal places, but it more precisely is 0.246, and then we're going to multiply this times a million times 10 to the 6, which is going to give us approximately 246,153, or well, let's round it. And this is the difference. So although It doesn't seem like a big difference, a few cents here and there. When you're talking about millions of units in import and export merchandise, for example, it comes up to be quite a bit of money. Great. Okay, let's continue. So we're going to start, I'm going to show you a formula here that is going to look like something we saw in inflation, but now we're going to see it with these new variables. US, so this is the rate of return in terms of the market, of a market interest rate relative to US dollars. IFM is the rate of return in terms of market interest rate relative to a foreign currency, and F sub E is the annual devaluation rate between the foreign currency and the US dollar. We're going to use a positive number when it is when the foreign currency is devalued, and a negative number when the foreign currency is gaining to the US dollar. So these are the variables. The relationship among these variables are the following. Look at these. They look very much like inflation. They're not, it works in a different way. However, we can calculate these changes in a similar way. Okay, so for example, here we have a very basic example, and it says, the currency of the country of Albatross, the Griquol, is devalued against the US dollar by 8% per year. The rate of return on an investment relative to the Griquol in Albatross is 12%. What is the equivalent return relative to the dollar? So we saw that IUS is equal to IFM minus FE over 1 plus FE. This is equal to 0.12, because that's the rate of return relative to a foreign country. 0.12 minus FE is, it's being devalued, so it's a positive number. Then this minus sign stays there, but it's a positive number regardless. 8% over 1 plus FE, 1 plus 0.08, then this gives us approximately 4%. So that is the equivalent rate of return, the return relative to the dollar. Okay, we'll stop right here, and we're going to continue with an example on the next video.